All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rick here. All right, and Tom, I've muted you guys. So, Tom, in a second, if you could hit star six on your phone, we'll unmute you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to January 10th, 2022. Remember my saying, what's possible for you when you follow through in 2022? And today we're very fortunate from the St. Rose office to have Mr. Tom Fraley. Tom, are you there?
I am. How you doing, Rick?
And there he is. Hey, Tom. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Good morning. You too.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Well, you've got some people on. You'll hear this ding sound all the time. That's just people coming on the call, so don't let it bother you. But tell everybody about yourself a little bit, how long you've been in the business, all that good stuff if you could, my man, and maybe what kind of year you had last year and what you're going to do this year.
Okay, so my name's Tom Fraley. I'm been in real estate for 16 years. Prior military, prior law enforcement. Got into real estate right at the crash in 2006 when it was doing its thing. Let's see, last year I did, I think I only did 28 deals, but my production was 12.8 million. And then, is that enough basics, or do you want more?
No, that's good. That's good. So basically, right at 13 million with 28 closings. You had a really good average sale price too, then.
Yeah, we had a good average sale. Well, I say we, but it's me. My wife is a realtor and name only, but yeah, so I'm kind of a team of one, but I still count as a team. Yeah.
Well, and you just want to make the picture look better by having her on it with you. I saw that, by the way. Good job.
Yes. I don't know if it's better or not. Though. I think it might actually make me look older. So.
No.
Anyway,
it's a good picture. All right.
Cool.
So, what do you think? What are you going to do this year? You going to do about the same?
No. So, as you know, Rick, and you'll get a laugh out of this, but for about 15 years straight, I've been saying every year that I'm going to start doing more prospecting and getting on the phone, and I've still never actually done that. But my goal right now, because my wife is about to become a firefighter, my goal is to pay my house off in 3 years. So I'm gonna have to actually start working.
Okay, just so everybody understands, I mean, your GCI is still incredibly good, and I know one of the ways you do it is just by being super customer service, super available for people. Well, that's the first I've heard of that. So Lauren's going to become a firefighter. That's like huge, life-changing. That's incredible.
Well, I joke that if she becomes a firefighter, I can actually retire, which would be great. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, no, she's doing really well. So we just bought our house in March. You probably know the general price range, and so I figure if I make a goal of to pay it off in 3 years, I need to make about $500,000 a year. That'll give me pay the bills plus pay towards the house. So my goal this year is to my goal for the next 3 years is to do at least $500,000 or more.
Nice, which is an increase, not an incredible increase, but based on what I'm hearing, I'm going to translate what you're saying. I know that I do incredibly well the way I do it. If I add some consistent prospecting to what I'm currently doing, I can go from usually right around 3-ish, a little bit more, to 500, which is an incredible jump, which would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's going to be, the things that I've known for years I need to do more of is reaching out to my SOI, actually, reaching out to just sold homes I've done, just listed homes I've done, doing the things that, that I encourage every new realtor to do every time I talk to one. And I've been fortunate, I'll say fortunate enough to not have to do myself. So I consider it a blessing that I haven't had to do that for a very, very long time, but I'm going to be doing it now. So.
That's great. And, well, in your defense, you started a few times. I've seen you up at the Success Center. You went through like a month or a couple months. So you know what's involved. You came down to the Success Center when I first started it almost 8 years ago now. And, you were like the star of the class, setting appointments when you apply yourself, right?
Well, and that's just it, Rick. I unfortunately, I've been very complacent in the sense of I haven't had to do that to chase the business. And of course, look at what I did last year, and that's all just past clients and referrals. But that's not how you grow your business, And I joke all the time about how easy I think this job is. But the truth is, if you really do this job properly, it's work. It requires a schedule. It requires a commitment of time, and it requires a lot of things that I've not had to do for a long time. So yeah, I'm gonna start working. I hate to say it like that, but I'm gonna start working. And you're right. I have had a lot of repeat clients because of the customer service I give, but at the same time, I mean, I should be doing a lot more business.
Yeah, and I was joking too. When I say apply yourself, I simply mean to prospecting, because you do an incredible job, and that's why. And you have a good. I mean, you just said it. You ex-military. You're obviously you're a police officer for years. You know people, and that repeat and referral business is incredible. But you're right. Somebody like yourself who knows that if I just add a consistent slice of prospecting, being consistent with that, what that can do for your business. And also, it makes you feel incredibly like you've really accomplished something when you add that slice. And in your case, that would be what? Probably like 30-35% of your business, which is great.
Yeah. And again, it's also that feeling of accomplishment, Rick, because, at 56, there's a lot of times when I feel like, I really don't have a job. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's how I feel. And I'll be honest with you, that's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. And that sense of accomplishment, although, the paychecks come in and that's a great thing, but truly feeling like you worked and you did something above and beyond, that's something I haven't felt in a while, and that's what I want to get back to.
No, that's great. Yeah. Well, it's that discipline. Look at you in the military, that police officer, that discipline, showing up on time, knowing what to do, that work factor. And see, a lot of people think, well, once I get to a certain area and I can coast, once you get to a certain area, you don't want to coast, right? Like that's what you're describing. Right. There's no coasting. Right. 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 It's same with your work.
Well, you can.
You're working out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to a point in real estate, yes, you can coast. You can get to the point where you've got enough past business, enough past clients, if you've treated them right, that you can coast and you can make around the same money every year like I have for, 10 years, 12 years. But that's not developing and growing a business. That's existing. And I want to do more than that.
Right. And I don't blame you. Yeah, absolutely. It feels better. Because let's face it, you know what it feels like to prospect for a day, create appointments, and then when you just live off that result and don't keep adding, it runs out, and then you have to start over again. So this is the perfect time of the year to get it going, too.
Right. Yeah. No, I do. I look at guys like Jamal and Andrew and some of these others that have got a real set schedule and are doing very well, and that's what people need to be looking at for real estate. They need to be looking at that business model, that motivation, that kind of excitement, because that's what's going to create that additional business.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Anything else you want to add about your real estate career before we move on to other stuff?
You know what? Honestly, Rick, it's that. God, you guys pound it into us all the time, is you really do have to have a schedule. If you just get up every morning wondering what I'm going to do today, odds are you're not going to do anything. And that's the real dagger in the heart of most people that get into real estate, is they think that now that they have a job that they can do whatever they want, they can pretty much do whatever they want, and you can't. You know what? It's probably, you have to be more demanding and more rigorous on yourself to develop and keep a schedule than if you had a job that you went to and a boss told you what to do. You've got to be harder on yourself.
You really do. Yeah, this business, I'm an independent contractor. I can do what I want. And, it really is a whole bunch of, I call it self-coaching. It's really self-accountability, whatever you want to call it. But it's something you have to do if you want to maximize this existence called real estate, because it's an incredible business. I mean, and I was fortunate. I was just in my second year of college when I got my real estate license, and it just made sense to me. I saw the effort versus return, the amount of exposure you have as far as like if you have a real business, which, don't get me wrong, real estate's a real business, but you have to have inventory, you have to have a store location, you have unless you're an internet business today, right? But there's a lot of overhead. But the risk versus the amount of reward you get for your investment, your time, is incredible in real estate, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I legitimately probably worked an hour or two a day this whole last year. if that.
Yeah. Well, when you say work, you mean over and above, like you're out with clients, you're on the phone with them, you'll stop and drop and go help them move a couch if they ask you to, right?
And it's funny you say that, Rick, because that is true. And I remember one time when I first got into real estate, I was in a training class, and there was an agent named Teresa, I won't say her last name, who was telling all of us how she turns her phone off every day at 6 o'clock, and her message says, basically, don't bother me, I'll call you back tomorrow. And I can't be more opposed to that sort of a mentality and attitude, especially to new agents, than you could believe. Because if somebody realizes that, 6:05, that something might be going wrong with their deal and they're stressed and they want to talk to their realtor to get an answer, and your voice message says, don't bother me till tomorrow, I would never work with you again. You know what? People need answers, and I think the best thing you can do is answer your phone, because let's be honest, how often a day really does your phone ring with a problem? And that 1 or 2 times, whether it's 6 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock at night, just answer your damn phone and help your client, and your clients will love you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially in Las Vegas, where one of the things I was shocked about when I moved here 11 years ago was I was looking for a place when I first moved here, and I must have called 5 agents on a weekend, and no one called me back. I'm like, that is weird. It's just weird. So in Vegas, if you're super service, you really stick out too.
Oh, I get that all the time, Rick. I can't tell you back when a lot more people were calling off signs, and people would call me and say, God, I called 3 other agencies. I got voice messages. You're the first one that answered. I love hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing that, because I do. Every time my phone rings, I answer it.
Yeah, that's true. I just called you. You did. All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. Finish up. Then I'm gonna ask you another question.
No, go ahead. Ask another question.
All right. I was going to say my favorite question, and this is, you've heard it before, is, if you're a newer agent or an agent trying to take it to the next level, or maybe even you're one of those agents right now. Yeah. Okay. So people, when they hear me say this, they go, "Oh, I'd hate to be stuck at 28, 13 million, but I hate to be stuck there." But you've been doing the same amount, and you want to go to the next level. So let's say for you, Tom, what are the top 3 things you need to focus on in order to make that happen this year?
Well, so I've already started this year out doing it. I have to have a schedule. I can't go to the gym either maybe 7 in the morning, maybe 9 in the morning, maybe at 11 o'clock. I've got to go by a set time, be done by a set time, and then I come home and I get on my computer and I start making my phone calls. And, I'm not going to commit to doing it 7 days a week, but right now I'm trying to do it Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday, taking Wednesday, to kind of, do other stuff. But that's what I'm trying to stick. Well, actually, I have. That's what I'm sticking to for a schedule. So that, because let's be honest, I've got nearly 700 past clients. If I get 10% a year out of those clients, that's 70 deals a year. Just I got that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's the old Mike Ferry 10% rule, which I totally agree with, because it works. If you just take your 700, call them consistently, even if it's alphabetically X amount a day. So if you work, and I know you work more than that, 240 days divided by 60 days in a work quarter, you've got to talk to 10, 11 of those people a day, and you'll talk to them 4 times a year. That would be. And
that is my goal, is to reach at least that's my goal, is to reach at least 10 people a day.
Okay, perfect. And even at that level, even if you talk to them that much, or when you talk to them that much, you can even leave a message now and then, and it's still getting the job done.
Oh, I always leave a message, especially when I'm calling SOI. I mean, most of my SOI has my number on the phone. If they see me call and then I don't leave a message, a lot of people think that's rude. So when I make that phone call, I leave a message, just tell them exactly what I'm doing. I'm telling them Happy New Year. I'm checking in with them. I want to see how things are going. And, probably 85, 90% of them call me back and see what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially if you've done a great job and they love talking with you. And, and plus, let's face it, I mean, real estate, especially Vegas, especially all over the country right now, is a kind of a hot topic because of everything that's going on. So it's easy to talk about, too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's lots to discuss. It's not, when I first got into real estate in 2005, it was all doom and gloom. Every time you talk to somebody, you had to tell them how their values are down and their neighbors are short selling and everybody's getting foreclosed, and there wasn't a lot of good upbeat information to pass out. This last year, it's been pretty easy. Right.
Okay, cool. All right, so number 1 is rock solid time blocking schedule. Okay, but what I'm hearing you also say is, but I'm still going to answer my phone even if I'm out doing stuff, which I think is great. Okay, so what would the second one be? I think you've already mentioned it a little bit, but what would the second one be?
Well, this is a little bit more of a personal one, but budgeting. You know, I have a tendency when we have had a good year like we have and we have money in the bank, I'll start throwing money at either Trulia or Zillow or some other lead site or something, and every single time, Rick, it turns out to be a huge waste of money with almost no return. So keeping my mind clear of the idea that you don't really buy leads, you create leads, and so that's another thing that I won't do this year is I won't buy leads.
Okay. Yeah, good. Because you don't need to, and those sites, I think especially Zillow. I mean, now they're out of buying business. You notice how since they've been out of the buying business that the values of properties have gone back up on their site? Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And they sell it to everybody. So you're always up.
Well, I'll give you an example. I've got a guy that I've known for years through kids soccer and such who got into real estate. And he joined a brokerage that I'm not a big fan of, but he said he joined that brokerage because they're giving him leads. And he said he's making about 60 to 70 calls a day. And I heard this, and I said, we need to have lunch. I went and had lunch with him, and he said he's been doing it for about 2 months now, and he doesn't have a single closing. And my point to him was, I said, if you get the right sort of numbers to be calling, and you're calling 60 or 70 a day, you would probably have 10 listings by now, at least. I said, but you're calling these people who went onto a website, went ahead and wanted to get information. They put in their name and their phone number. They got the information that they really aren't interested in, and now you're calling them. They don't want you to call them. They never asked you to call them.
Right.
And I mean, the guy's literally, he's working 4 or 5 hours a day on the phones, and he's got nothing from it. To me, well, I'll be honest with you, I told him, I said, come join my team. I said, I will give you numbers to call, and, you'll make money. Because if I can get somebody willing to make, even 40 or 50 calls a day, that will build my team's business and build their own business, and that's the kind of agent you want to come on your team.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't it funny? Because I'm paying Zillow, and they're giving me these phone numbers. I immediately have faith that they're good numbers and they're people that will set an appointment with me. I've always found that really, just because you create them yourself, what, that means they're no good? It doesn't even make sense if you think about it. Right. Absolutely.
So that's number 2.
Yep.
And then, is there another one?
Yeah, number 3.
Is there number 3?
I think tell us about your prospecting. I think that'd be a great number 3.
So my prospecting right now, all I've been doing, because like I said, I do have so many people on my contact list. I went through the beginning part of this year, or actually around the holidays. I thinned out that prospecting list because, I mean, I had probably 400 or 500 numbers in my phone that were past employees that I worked with in the city of Henderson, most of whom I had no idea who they were. So if I tried to call them and I didn't get an answer, I didn't get a call back, I've been deleting them out of my system. So I've knocked my contacts down from probably around 1,800 to somewhere around, I don't know, probably 1,000 to 1,100. And then even those, when I'm doing my process right now, when I call these people, unless it's somebody I already know that's an advocate of mine for real estate, I'm calling them and saying, look, checking in with them and then saying, hey, just out of curiosity, if you were going to make a real estate transaction this year, would I be the realtor you'd use? And if they tell me no, of course I ask why, what could I do to change that? And if they say, well, my wife or my husband's a real estate agent, then it's probably a no. It's not going to change. And and I delete them out of my system. I just take them out of my system.
Okay. You don't say, oh, your wife's a realtor. How's your marriage? Kidding.
No, I probably would say that if somebody said that, but I haven't had that response yet. But yeah.
Just kidding. All right, cool. No, so the schedule. I mean, really, the schedule could be the one answer because you would have prospecting in your schedule. You'd have sitting down looking at your budgeting. So the schedule to me is a dynamite answer. I love the budgeting because you're not the only one, Tom, that puts a few money in and then all of a sudden comes up with ways to spend it. Okay, but now you have the perfect way to spend it. You're going to start chipping away at your house. I love it.
Right.
And then prospecting, being consistent, disciplined, and on purpose about it. All right, cool. I love it. Those are great. All right.
Yeah.
We got a couple minutes left. Anything else you want to add?
I don't, Rick. I would just tell the agents that are on here, especially the newer agents, because when I talk to a lot of new agents, they're really apprehensive about going forward in the business. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of not doing something right. And I'm guessing most of the people on this podcast are probably from our company. And I would just encourage you that almost anybody in an office around our building, probably any of the buildings, I don't know all of them, but definitely ours, you can go to any one of those agents anytime and ask them a question you have, whatever it's about, however minor. And every agent I've ever had ask for help has always helped me. So I would just say don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Starting any new business is risk-taking. Starting real estate is a lot more risk-taking, but you've got to do it or you're not going to get the business.
Absolutely. No, that's a great, and that's one of the things I noticed when I came here is the amount, and it's very unique in that, it's a dynamite company that Mark's created, and it's also, people will help you. And some people look at it as, well, I'm helping my competition. Not your own company. You shouldn't have to be competing against you.
Even then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even then, Rick, I will tell you, I develop a lot of relationships with agents and other companies. And I can't tell you how often I get agents from other companies that will call me and say, hey, Tom, I got this going on. And I always wonder to myself, why aren't you asking your own sales manager or broker? And you know why? Because they can't get a good answer or they're not there. So I will tell you that I think that most people in this company realize that there's 17,000 agents in the Valley. Your clients are not my clients, and we are not in competition. I want you to do the best job you can, because the better reputation and the more market share our company has, the more business we as a team, as a company, are going to continue to capture. So I think what you said is correct. The mindset that Mark Stark has developed and built into this company is pervasive throughout this company.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. It's definitely, and Mark calls it a culture, and I agree with him. It is a culture. This company, we have a great company culture. We have great managers. We have great dynamite rock star agents. Some of the best agents in the Valley, like yourself, are with this company. And you can go to another company and go 100%, but once again, your manager's never there. You walk in the place, it's like it echoes, hello, because nobody's there. You come into one of our offices, it's booming, there's stuff going on, because it's a business. And I think we have a lot of agents that, like yourself, they treat it like a real business, which is great.
Well, I hear that too. You real quick, Rick, you only get that one chance to make a first impression. When you get a new client as a new agent, you only get one chance to do a good transaction. And they're either going to come back to you in the future or they're never going to talk to you again. If you don't have good guidance and you don't have a good team around you and you don't do a good job for them, you just wasted your time with that one client. It's a shoot and miss, and you're never going to see them again. But when you work for a good company and you do things right and you get help to do things right, you're going to develop an advocate that's going to come back to you and refer people to you for the next 10 years.
Yeah, the golden rule, the golden rule is the golden rule for a reason, do to other people what you would want them to do for you. So when you're in a transaction, if you're thinking, well, what would I want to know, and you're on top of it like that, plus the hidden benefit to that is, if you have one incredibly happy client, they're going to send you 10, 15, 20 deals across the course of of your relationship with them, and then you have another one, and then you have another one, and then you have. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. People say real estate doesn't have residual income. I totally disagree. It has super residual income if you're doing a great job for people.
Yeah, I agree, Rick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Fraley from the St. Rose office. Thanks, Tom. Really appreciate your time, my man. Appreciate it. You did an awesome
have a good one, man.
Really insightful. Thank you. All right, have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Yep. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.